Dude, I came across something the other day that just blew my mind. Like full on, what the hell is going on level stuff. You ever stumble on something so wild, so ancient that it somehow lines up perfectly with modern science? That's exactly what happened. I was reading about this verse in the Quran, the Islamic holy book, and it said something that literally sounds like it's describing the expansion of the universe. No joke. This thing was written over 1400 years ago, long before anyone even had a telescope, and yet it's saying something that matches what astrophysicists only figured out in the last century. The verse goes, "And the heaven we constructed with strength, and indeed we are its expander." Bro, we are its expander. Think about that. The Quran is literally saying the universe is expanding. You have to understand how crazy that is. For most of human history, people thought the universe was static, that it just existed. Even Einstein thought that when he came up with his general theory of relativity. It actually implied that the universe was expanding or contracting, but he couldn't wrap his head around that idea. So he added this thing called the cosmological constant to make the math fit a static universe. Later, when Edwin Hubble discovered that galaxies were moving away from each other, that space itself was stretching. Einstein called it the biggest blunder of his career. But dude, the Quran had that concept described over 1,000 years before Hubble even pointed his telescope at the sky. So I started digging deeper, right? Because I'm thinking, maybe it's just poetic language, maybe it's metaphorical. But the Arabic word used there, muzi'un, literally means expanding or stretching. Not metaphorical, literal expansion. That word, in that context, it's like describing the universe as this ongoing process, this continuous unfolding. That's exactly what modern cosmology says. The universe isn't just sitting there, it's EXP. Anding faster and faster, driven by what scientists now call dark energy. We don't even know what dark energy is, man. We have no clue, but it's real and it's pushing galaxies apart at an accelerating rate. And I just sat there thinking, how the hell did anyone in the 7th century describe that? There were no telescopes, no physics, no scientific method, just people looking up at the stars with their naked eyes. How would anyone even come up with the idea that the universe is expanding? Every instinct back then would have said the opposite, that the sky is fixed, unchanging. But this verse just drops that line like it's casual, like, yeah, we're expanding the universe, that's nuts. It makes you wonder, man, like, what did they know, or what was being told to them? I mean, this was revealed, a guy living in the desert, a man who couldn't read or write. That's historically documented. Yet here he is, reciting words that describe the very thing our most advanced telescopes and mathematical models only confirmed in the 20th century. It's like time folded in on itself. And it doesn't stop there. There's another verse that talks about the creation of the heavens and the earth being joined together before being separated. That's literally the Big Bang model. The Quran says, "Have those who disbelieve not considered that the heavens and the earth were a joined entity, and we separated them?" Dude, that's the Big Bang. Before everything expanded, everything was one, all matter, all energy, compressed into a single, insanely dense point. Then it exploded, expanded, and cooled to form galaxies, stars, planets, everything. When you read that verse knowing what we know now about the Big Bang, it's like, what? How? How did someone 1400 years ago describe that with no scientific tools, no observational data, nothing? It's not vague either, it's specific. Joined together and then separated. That's the exact sequence of events. I started reading interpretations Ram scientists who studied the Arabic and compared it with modern cosmology, and they're all like, yeah, this is shockingly similar. Even non-Muslim scientists have admitted that the parallels are eerie. You could brush it off as coincidence if it was just one verse, but it's not. It's like there's this pattern of cosmological accuracy running through this ancient text. There's another one that talks about everything in the universe being created from water, and I'm sitting there thinking, okay, maybe that's metaphorical. But then I remembered, every form of life we know of needs water. Even on Mars, the first thing scientists search for is water, because water means life. And this ancient book straight up said, we made from water every living thing. How the hell do you even guess that right if you're living in a desert 14 centuries ago? It's like the more you look into it, the harder it gets to just shrug it off. I'm not even saying this proves anything spiritual or religious. I'm just saying this is wild, because you're talking about descriptions that predate every single scientific discovery about the cosmos. The expansion, the origin, the role of water, all of it. Ibrahim. And here's what gets me. Science is constantly changing. Like 50 years ago, people thought the universe was decelerating. Now we know it's accelerating. But that Quran verse doesn't need updating. It just sits there, unchanged, still accurate. It's timeless. That's what freaks me out. Ibrahim. There's this moment where you start to realize maybe knowledge isn't just linear. But there's this book, sitting there for over a millennium, quietly holding on to pieces of cosmic truth before anyone even knew what a galaxy was. That's insane. Think about it. The Quran was revealed in a world where people thought the earth was flat and the stars were just lights hanging in the sky. And somehow, it contains ideas about cosmic expansion, universal origin, and biological dependence on water, all of which turned out to be true. That's not normal. At some point, you just run out of explanations. Like, you can't say it's luck, you can't say it's guesswork. How do you guess the expansion of the universe? How do you guess the separation of the heavens and the earth? Those aren't things you can see or imagine from a human perspective. That's cosmic level knowledge, and honestly, man, it just makes you feel small, like you're staring into something way bigger than you can comprehend. You realize there's still so much we don't know about the universe, about consciousness, about the origins of everything. Maybe there's a design to it, or maybe it's just the ultimate mystery. But whatever it is, that verse, we are its expander, it messes with your head, because it's like the universe itself is still speaking, through ancient words, through cosmic energy, through every star that's moving farther away as we speak. And here we are, finally catching up to something that's been written all along. Ibrahim, I don't even know what to say, man. I'm just blown away.